Hello, everyone, and welcome to True Chakra Tarot Talk. Is that I'm going to be doing the last class here for basically the elements. We're going to be doing cups, swords, wands, and pentacles. So I'm going to explain those four ones from the numbers 2 to 10. That's what we have left, because I want to say last, like I said, we did all of the major arcana, minor arcana, and I want to say we did pages, kings, and queens. If we didn't do the kings or queens and pages, just let me know. I can add them. But as far as I know, this is the only four that we have left. So, but it is all elements. So as long as y'all are ready, like I said, y'all just let me know, and then we'll go ahead and move on. Like I said, so I want to thank y'all for joining me. I do apologize for being a few minutes late. I ran behind on a work call. So let me find a page. Hey, Natalie, how are you? I'm working on private readings, I promise. I didn't expect to go out of town this weekend, so it messed up my, messed up my recording schedule, because I like to record a certain way, and I didn't have all the stuff that I wanted to record, so I kind of, I was going to do that tonight, the private readings. Well, yours isn't private. Yours is with Ted Bundy, but you know what I mean. So anyways, hope all is well, though. So like I said, I'm just going to wait for the room to fill up a little bit and see if anybody from the classes that are left want to go ahead and join. I was going to keep it unlisted, but I'm going to go ahead and make it public, because I make it public after anyways. And so if anybody has any questions, they can go ahead and ask them now, because after this class, it'll move over to the Patreon forum, I guess, of YouTube. If you want to learn how the cards come out together. Like if the death comes out with like the lovers or something like that, or the death comes out with moons or something. Oh yeah, he definitely wants to talk to you. You don't know why? Because you're naturally brunette, right? Like you part your hair down the middle. I mean, I can't really see, but it looks like it. You're wearing cat ears in your picture, but like he likes the way you look. Like you're his style. He liked brunettes with their hair parted down the middle. And that were the slimmer body frame. And that's kind of what I see when I picture you. So anyways, though, like I said, we're going to go ahead and get started in just a second. Like I said, I'm just kind of giving a rundown. Can you turn it down, please? Just a little bit. So I'm just giving a little bit rundown of it. So we're going to start the cups, then we're going to do the pentacles, then the swords, and then the wands. So that is what we are doing. So I'm going to go ahead and write those down in order, so I don't get them confused and then do them again, because that's how my brain works. Your food's in the microwave, Andrew.
I'll make something.
Or there's popcorn.
Okay.
You can take your food out of there and make popcorn.
Yeah, Mommy, we can go buy things at Walmart.
Well, we can't right now. It's too late. So, that's what you can make the popcorn and stuff real quick if you want. Or you can eat the food that's in the microwave. Either one. But anyways, we're going to start off with the cups. So basically, we're going to be doing the 2 of cups through the 10. So I said this is going to represent basically the minor arcana, is like the suits and kind of stuff. You know, like, well, not the suits, but the minors. So this is kind of just going to be, again, this is going to go with your cups. Like your Ace of Cups is going to be before this one. So they do have the Ace of Cups before this one, and then you have the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is basically representing lovers. Brand new lovers, actually, by the way. This is going to be a brand new relationship. Oh, that is a good one. Hey, Rosie, how are you? I like pot pies.
Hey, Mom.
Yes, Andrew?
I want to go take my bath.
Right now?
Yes, Mom.
Okay.
After I'm finished.
All right. So anyways, the 2 of Cups, though, is going to represent lovers. Now, this is the card I'm usually talking about. If you look at it, he's, like, reaching across trying to take her cup. And that's why I'm like, he's greedy. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, what dude is, like, reaching across trying to take something from some woman? You know what I mean? Like, you don't got enough of your own stuff. You got to take somebody else's. And then there's also strength. And actually, kind of to me, it almost looks like a health symbol. But I mean, it's not. But just it's like a health symbol with a lion instead of, like, whatever else. I can't remember what else it represents as the health symbol. But, I don't know. It's just like there's strength lingering over it, but it's still very new. So when it's in reverse, it's kind of the opposite. It's like, so you're no longer in love, and you can see where he again has kind of reached in and taken her cup. The strength has fallen away from the relationship. It's falling away from both of them. and they're not very much interested in it anymore. Yeah, well, he just liked brunettes. I mean, well, you got to think about the 70s too. Not all, or at the time he most people were like sizes 6 to 8 to something. I mean, there were slender women, but there weren't very many. You had a very good mixture in that time, and that's when he was alive. So now we're doing the 3 of Cups. So the 3 of Cups is going to be basically what it looks like, having celebrating with your girlfriends, going out, having fun, just things like that. So whenever it's in reverse, though, or when it stays like this, it can become overindulgent and too much. Like you can like overdo it, over party. So when it's in reverse, then it's like kind of coming out of that energy, realizing that you shouldn't stay there and that you've been there for too long. So it's kind of can cause a problem for not only you emotionally, but the people around you. So you don't want to stay there. So next is going to be the 4. The 4 of Cups is going to be here to show you that this guy is like basically focused on all these other cups, and he's not focused on what is being given to him. So he's being a little bit greedy, to be honest. So, and again, cups represent water signs, which is Scorpio, Cancers, and Pisces. But with the 4 of Cups being here again, he is, like I said, saying that he is not interested in what he has in front of him. He wants something else. So this is kind of like wanting something you can't have, which brings him to the 5 of Cups, which leads him to the grass is greener on the other side. So that's why you see, again, he's not noticing these 2 cups behind him. He's only noticing the one that's spilt in front of him. And it looks like, and it's supposed to be wine, but I think to me it's kind of like shows blood and wine. So he's doing a little bit of both. But he is feeling sorry for himself. And he's like looking at all the cups like, oh, my cup spilled. But he's kicked him over himself. So when it's in reverse, it's the complete opposite. So he's coming out of that energy finally. He's not really feeling so bad anymore. He's not even really noticing the 2 of Cups. He's just realizing the grass is not greener on the other side. So the next card is going to be the 6 of Cups. So that one's going to represent childhood most of the time. So it's going to show happiness, anything like that you would want to know when you were younger, like anything that made you happy, any experience, smells, tastes, foods, places, things like that. Things that made your childhood what it was, that made it happy and enjoyable. And then when it's in reverse, though, it's the opposite. It's like something basically kind of wrecked your childhood, or it didn't turn out the way it should have completely. And you're you're maybe going back and forth with it, or you might be a little bit stuck on it. The next one is going to be the 7 of Cups. So it's going to be like a straight overindulgence to me. Always. This is the sex, drugs, and rock and roll card. And it is because it is the 7 of Cups. So when you look at it, this is the one that has more of the mischievous stuff on it. So you see the dragon, you do see the beads, the crystals, a ghost, a snake, a wreath, and then kind of like another kind of ghost like leaf figure, like a head. So I'm saying it's a little bit, like I said, it's a more sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it kind of lets you know that people are kind of like they're giving you a lot of options, but they're not all good options. So you kind of only need to pick one. You can't have everything that you want. And that is what this card means. Once it is reversed, you have picked one and you have chosen one that you feel is good for you. It's going to benefit you. So now you have the 8 of Cups. So once you've made your decision, you move on with that because that's what you're supposed to do. You make your decision emotionally and then you move forward. So you do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that it works out. The moon is illuminating the way for you along with the water next to the river. So that is your emotions. So you are very much in tune with your emotions by being illuminated by the moon. And then your cups are up straight. Now when it's reversed, it's kind of the opposite. You don't really want to go anywhere. It's kind of the opposite. You want to stay there. Like you're not ready to leave yet. It's like being in a relationship but not ready to leave yet. So now you have the 9 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups, and then we'll be on the Pentacles. So the 9 of Cups is basically what it looks like. He's accumulated a lot of abundance, but it's emotional abundance too. It's things that he's wanted that's made him happy. So that is why he is smirking. That is why he is happy about it. And he wants to actually share it with everybody else. He wants people to not tell him he's great, but kind of, be like, oh, wow, I can't believe you did all that. You accomplished so much and celebrate it with him. But whenever it's in reverse, it's like he's taking it too far. It's like he's rubbing it in people's faces and nobody really wants to hear it or see it. So That's kind of what you're getting out of that card. So the next card coming up is going to be the 10 of Cups. So once you get the 9 of Cups, you feel full abundance, right? Like you feel like you finally have reached your full potential of emotional happiness. So you're feeling the 10 of Cups after. So you feel like that is when you're ready to maybe have a happy home, start a family, do those sort of things. And that's why you see the husband and the wife and the children playing under this rainbow, which contains cups. So like I said, and they do have a house in the background. You see, again, the river flowing. So it is much with the cup theme. So now we're going to go into Pentacles. Does anybody have any questions about the cups at all? And I'm not trying to go super fast, but we do have that reading for, I forgot what it was named. But I did set it live for us tonight to do like a mini like girls' night kind of reading fun night. If y'all want to do that, or if y'all want to talk about cases, I do have cases that I'm going to record tonight. But I did also have it set up for like I think 9, but it'll probably be more like 9:30, 10 to be honest. So the next one's going to be 2 of Pentacles. So basically, it's going to be just making a decision. This person's trying to balance with the infinity symbol, something that they should or should not do. So or pick one of them, rather do it or don't do it. Do it this one, do this one, or do this one. Don't do this one or don't do this one. So that's kind of what they're being offered at that moment. So once they do, they will go ahead and make that decision. So they decide to go ahead and go maybe with the offer or not take it. Now, whatever offer it is usually involves the 3 of Pentacles working together. A lot of earth sign cards are going to be Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. They all kind of work with other people. They are good at working with other people. That is what they do. Usually they work within the healthcare system or anything like that. So they said whenever they're going to be the servants kind of the zodiac. They are the servants. So like I said, that's what you're going to get from them. So again, they are in the hospital. So when it's upright, it's like a well-oiled machine working together for the better to make something happen. And then whenever it's in reverse, just get a cup from up there. Whenever it's in reverse, the 3 of Pentacles is going to let you know that it's not running like a well-oiled machine, or it could be a third-party cheating situation. Just 1 second. He needs me to give him something to drink. Okay, sorry. Wants to make Kool-Aid. So we have 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So again, it can stand for a cheating party situation, or it just can stand for something not working out the way it was supposed to. Like I said, it could be 3 business partners and it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. So it just did not work out. It did not run like the well-oiled machine that it was supposed to. So then you have the 4 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles is basically what it looks like. He's holding on tight to his pentacles. He's got one on his head. He's got one on his chest, and he's got one under his feet. So he's not letting go of them, and he's not letting anybody take them from him. So he basically is letting them know to not mess with him, and he's not handing them over easily. Now, when it's in reverse, it's almost like they've kind of taken it from it. It's almost, or he's given it away. It's like once it's in reverse, it's kind of like the same. It's like falling down, just like the swords. Whenever anything's in reverse, it's gonna go. You got to think of gravity. It's gonna take everything down every time you're looking at a sign. So that's kind of what you want to look at in reversals too. You're looking at what's around it and how it's being brought down, because that's going to make a big difference around the card next to it too. So that is going to be the 4 of Pentacles. So now you have the 5 of Pentacles, which is basically being out in the cold. As you can see, this person is almost like dragging this other person who can barely walk. And it's like snowing, and like it's almost like the other person's so upset that they don't care that this person's having a difficult time. They're just doing what they want and what they please. Like I said, but at the same time, like I said, they seem to be more focused about what's going on for themselves and not the both of them. So basically, like I said, it's being put out in the cold and maybe possibly blaming it on somebody else, or it being out in the cold because they maybe could have done something with somebody else. Now, when it's in reverse, or family, but whenever it's in reverse, it's coming out of the cold. It's coming out of the 5 of Pentacles. So therefore, you are able to go ahead and start to feel like you're abundant again with the Pentacles. You start to regain your wealth, your abundance, everything that comes with it. So you do start to be able to come across a home, car, those type of things again. Bye, Jaws. I'll talk to you later. So we just did the 5. So we're doing 6 now. So we have the 6 of Pentacles. So again, the 6 of Pentacles is kind of what it looks like. This is the basic picture of the Rider-Waite. So it is a scales. So it kind of, to me, represents Libra a little bit, like Libra and Virgo, or Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn mixed together, since it is an earth sign. But it does have a little bit of Libra in it, because they're showing that Virgos are very much like Libras. They expect loyalty and they expect a balance. And if they don't get it, then they get very upset. And they kind of go into this mode and they'll kind of take everything back. So if they basically help you a lot, they I don't want to say they're going to throw it in your face completely, but they are going to tell you, like, it's kind of like don't bite the hand that feeds you kind of card when it's in reverse. And especially depending on the cards that come out around it. And so they're saying if you do bite the hand that feeds you, then you will start all over again and you'll have to build a new beginning for yourself. They're not going to help you. They're going to make you plant seeds, water them, wait for them to grow, and they're going to watch pretty much. And they're just going to, like, you know, that's just kind of how the earth sign is. They're going to expect you to take care of yourself. Now, if you don't water and you don't take care of it, it's going to go into reverse and it's going to rot, basically. Your Pentacles are going to rot and they're not going to be any good. So you're going to start all over again. So that's why you have the 8 of Pentacles coming behind it. The 8 of Pentacles is basically putting all this work into these new Pentacles instead of the 7. So instead of trying to grow them, he is literally taking the time to chisel the Pentacles and, you know, and make the start on each one. So that way, he can go ahead and make sure that each one is perfect, the same size, the same everything, right? So the 9 is going to represent basically freedom, a little bit, independence. So whenever the 9 of Pentacles is here, it's going to represent a woman who is single. Usually, most of the time, she pays her own bills. It can be a single parent. It can be any of those things. But it's somebody who does their own thing. So I'm saying they do it quite often. Like I said, they're happy doing it. They make their own money, and they like to be alone. So whenever it's in reverse, it's the opposite. Like they don't want to be alone. They don't know how to be alone, and they really don't care what they have to do to manipulate around them too, so that they don't have to be alone. Even if they have to lie to somebody to tell them that they love them, they will probably do it so that they won't have to be alone. But if that doesn't happen and they find somebody in a good energy, then they will go into the just had it. There it is. Then they'll go into the 10 of Pentacles. So they will go into a happy home with this person. As you see, there's 2 lovers here, like basically 2 partners. There's 2 dogs. There is also a grandfather and a child behind them, and they basically live in something that looks like a castle. So again, once you put the work and the time into the Pentacles, everything works out the way it's supposed to. So next is going to be the Swords. So we have the 2 of Swords. So there is a part of the crescent moon here. It does let you know that you have to make a decision, but most of the time it is made in the dark, or it's not made completely in the light, because it's not illuminated by the moon. And it might not even affect the moon cycle completely, like it would by making these 2 decisions. So, but you do see a lot of water behind it. And even though it is a sword signs are kind of like water, because they can bring on emotions and actions. So if you think of something and you have to make a decision, and you make that decision like this, and it affects you in some way, there might be some type of emotional repercussion because of it for that thought action. So that's all it's saying. That's why there's so much water above it. Now, next you have the 3 of Swords. So the 3 of Swords represent brokenheartedness. So this can represent third parties again. So I'm saying, like, this is usually when a cheating card, or a brokenhearted card, like losing a job, a family member, or a friend, or all at the same time, or just basically being cheated on, manipulated, and lied to, like any of those things. And when it's in reverse, it's basically coming out of it, and you're no longer feeling the heartbreak the way that you were when it originally started, but it was heartbreak, so it hurt. It was a spiritual growth thing. So then you go into the 4 of Swords. So now you see that you're resting, but you have 3 swords over you and 1 by your side. So it's saying once the 3 of Swords happens, it's okay to go into the resting state with the 4 of Swords, but you cannot stay there and you cannot live there, or the other 3 of Swords will fall on top of you, basically. And that'll be the end of you. So, and you do have the sword by your side to protect yourself. But whenever you make your decision and come out of it, the 3 of Swords will no longer fall on top of you, and you will still have this golden sword here ready for you and your golden armor when your decision is made. Now, they are saying a lot of times when this happens, because they were brokenhearted, they can, and they do a lot of thought games. They, air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, they can make things come out a little bit more harsh than what they need to be. So, they are kind of overkilling the situation after they're coming out of rest. They are brokenhearted, and you see the Five of, it's the Five of Swords. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to find that third. Oh, he's got them all in his hand. Usually there's one on the floor. But anyway, so he's got basically all 3 swords in his hand from the broken heart, and he has the other 2 kind of like he slayed the other 2 for breaking his heart, right? So when it's in reverse, it's like he's coming out of that energy. So he no longer feels that way no more. He doesn't care what the other 2 did to him and made him feel in that third party situation. So therefore, he's moving on with the 6 of Swords. Hi, Browsing History. How are you? And see you come into now. And welcome to anybody else who's coming in the chat room. Like I said, we have Wands after this. We're halfway through the Pentacles, a little bit less. And then if y'all have any questions before we go on to our live tonight, y'all are more than welcome to ask those about these cards. But you have the 6 of Swords. The 6 of Swords is going to be moving forward again. So it's going to be taking all of your thought, all of the mental anguish, all of the thoughts, and moving forward. So you are no longer, you're moving forward too with your emotions. So not only are you moving forward with the thoughts, you're moving forward through the emotions, and you're not taking them with you. Now, when it's in reverse, you're basically not going anywhere. You're stuck in the emotions, and you're flipped upside down. So it's still kind of like being stuck in that energy. And it's like you're not leaving, and you're not going forward. You're not helping yourself, and you're staying stuck in your thoughts. So it's not doing you or anybody else around you any good. And all it does is lead to lying, stealing, cheating, and manipulating. As you can see, this person is a 7 of Swords. So they have 5 of the Swords in their hand, and they have left 2 behind, but they're so greedy. They are looking back at them like they can't wait to turn around and go ahead and steal them. So that's what they are doing in this card. So whenever it is in reverse, it's kind of like they've been caught doing it. So they've been caught lying, stealing, cheating, and manipulating. And then they have the 2 of Swords are left behind. That's how they were caught, because they left it behind and they messed up. So the 8 of Swords is here, and the 8 of Swords is basically once they've gotten caught and messed up, now they're stuck in their head and they're bounded and tied. And it's kind of like being in jail, basically. You might as well be. They're basically surrounded by a wall of swords, and they are bounded and just like you would be handcuffed, and then they're kind of blindfolded. That's the only thing they don't do to you. So basically, you're stuck in like this kind of area where you can't really leave. You can't get out of it because you don't know how, and you can't get out of your thoughts. So whenever you're in reverse, it's the complete opposite. It's like coming into your thoughts. It's like I said, it's finally releasing those negative energies and negative thoughts going on with your head. All the swords drop and all the bondages drop. Just like it will when everything else goes in reverse of gravity-wise. Always think gravity. So anything that you see on these cards is going to drop. So that's the point of the reversal to me when I read cards. So again, it might be different when you start to read cards for yourself. So the 9 of Swords is basically losing sleep, insomnia. Well, insomnia is losing sleep, anxiety, and depression. So it's basically this person also, again, is still stuck in their head, kind of like the 8 of Swords, but they're so stuck in their head, they're losing sleep over it. So that's why it's like all these swords are behind them. So they can't even rest, and then they're covering their eyes. They're very tired. They want to get out of the situation, but they don't know how, and they can't. When it's in reverse, they finally find the energy to go ahead and do so. It might need help from a third party, a second or third party, and let them know what's going on. But they are very much in need of some mental type of stability at that point. So, and the reason of that is because they need to end the cycle of whatever's going on. There's a 10 of Swords cycle with it. So the 10 of Swords basically is saying that the cycle needs to end. It needs to stop. And that's what's causing the anxiety, the depression, and the insomnia. So that is what the 10 of Swords is doing with the 10 of Swords in the person's back. So it's basically saying, who cares if you have to backstab them? Like, it's not worth it anymore because they're backstabbing you, basically. So when it's in reverse, you did it. The cycle is ended. You're over it. It's not the same like you killed them or anything. It's saying like if you're in a relationship, you ended it. If you had a shitty job, you ended it. Like it's that kind of thing. So if you had a shitty friendship, you ended it. So that's what the 10 of Swords in reverse is going to stand for. And last one we're going to have is the Wands. So does anybody have any questions? Again. before we move on is that we only have the 9 cards. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the 2 of Wands. The 2 of Wands is here and is making a decision. So it's making a decision about the world. You see the world in the person's hands. So basically they have 2 things they need to decide from. They are holding one of the wands and they have one behind them. So basically they are more focused on one than the other, and then they feel that they can go ahead and do as they please because they have the world in their hands, which nobody does. So that is where they're already making a mistake, and that is very known for fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. They're very impulsive, and they never usually make, when they're in reverse, especially like this, they are very impulsive and don't do what they're supposed to do. They'll take the wand that's best for them, and they don't even think about what they leave behind. That's kind of how fire energy can be sometimes. So then you have the 3 of Wands. This person's basically trying to change stuff, so they're waiting for things to come in. So once that happens, again, it's like if you see in the water, there's ships. So they're waiting for their ships to come in. So that's why it's the 3 of Wands. So they have 2 wands they're mainly focused on, but they're waiting on this one to get here to see which one they want the most. Whenever it's in reverse, they go ahead and make their decision, like I said, and then they move forward with that decision. So that is what they are doing with the 3 of Wands in reverse. And like I said, and then you see the harbor. Like I said, you see the ships better coming in. Like I said, and I don't know why they used yellow for the water and for the background. It kind of blends in, especially with the ground and the wands, but they did. So yeah, there's 3 ships in the water with the 3 wands. So they're waiting for something to come in their favor. So the next you have the 4 of Wands, and that is going to be a happy home. What swatting flies? Beautiful love, or deceitful love, excuse me. Which card was that? Oh, you're a troll. Okay. You both have the same name. You fucked up already. Anyways. 1 second, y'all. I apologize. They're trying to ruin the chat, and it's not going to happen. So, again, there's a 4 of Wands. So, it does bring in a happy home. Like I said, and that is going to be usually a marriage, a celebration of some sort. Like I said, so whenever that happens, you do have these 4 of Wands come in. Like I said, you can see where they have all of the flowers here. They are celebrating. They're holding up the bouquets, and they're kind of celebrating their wedding. So when it's in reverse, like I said, it's kind of like the party's over. So it's not what it was. So then you have the 5 of Wands. So the 5 of Wands is basically after the party's over, the bickering begins a little bit. So it's like they're kind of like bickering like children. So they fight on the like they're fighting like kids on the playground, basically, with like smacking the crap out of each other with sticks and wands and whatever else you can find outside. So once it's done, it's all over. So like I said, it's kind of like they're over the energy just as quick as they went into it. That's kind of how fire signs are. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they don't really stay pissed off for very long. And then after it's over, though, they still feel like they won. They don't really care if they did or didn't win. But like I said, if you ask them, they won. So like I said, with the 6 of Wands, like I said, they are celebrating the fact that they won. And then with it in reverse, they are not celebrating it because they didn't win. So they're a little bit pissed off about it. And then with the 7 of Wands, they are still trying to defend that they did the right thing and that's what they should have done. So that is what they are doing with the 7 of Wands. And then when it's in reverse, it is also letting them know that, or is letting the person know that they are coming out of feeling like they have to defend themselves constantly against these other 6 wands because they have this one and they're much bigger than the other 6 underneath them. And that's what makes the other 6 so sad. So why is the 8 of Wands here? The 8 of Wands is here because the 8 of Wands represents communication. It represents coming in fast. It can be documents, paperwork, emails, text, even legal documents, anything like that. It's going to be anything's going to be communication usually. So when it's in reverse, it could still be not coming in or be coming in very slowly and not, I would say not as harshly, but it's still a little harsh. It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be not harsh either way. It's going to be something, that's why you feel beaten and battered next with the 9 of Wands. Whatever came in, it was kind of like, it kind of shook your shit. That's the best way to say it. It shook your wand leaves. So, like I said, you have the bandage over your head. You're sitting there looking at behind, like, I can't believe they did that to me. Like, oh my gosh, it's so horrible. And then after that, you have the 10 of Wands. This is going to be the last card. So you go ahead and lay the burden down because you know they're not worth it anymore. So you like I said, you are carrying it still at this point, but then you finally decide that they, these people or this thing is not worth it. And so you lay the burden down, and that's what pisses them off the most. So that is kind of how that works for the fire signs. So that is going to be your elements that go with your tarot. Does anybody in that was, maybe possibly still taking notes or in the class? I know a lot of people are still probably doing stuff. Like I said, usually don't do classes at this time. So I know I'm going to add it to the list so they can see it whenever they are ready to watch it. So let's see. 1 second. All right, so I'm going to go right ahead and go inside out since nobody has any questions. Like I said, I'll be doing the live spreads tonight. I said, so I will talk to you then. Like I said, and then y'all have a good night. Like I said, if y'all don't have any questions about the cards, that's what the rest of the cards mean. Like I said, y'all, next month we'll be going into where it's like the Patreon site. If you want to keep learning tarot, I think it was $14.99 a month. And then that would be for the metaphysical, the pendulums, the class for tarot, and then 4 crystals. I always say the Rider Waite for newbies because it's simple, but it's not even like, this is actually by I love Sarah Marchetti, by the way. This is actually the Sarah Marchetti Gilded Tarot Royale, and it's got a really small book, so I would recommend this too as another one because it's really, really small and it's super like easy and compacted. So if like you want to take it with you, you can do that. And honestly, the next class I'm going to do, I know we're going to talk about one more class before if everybody wants to sign up and keep going, that's up to y'all. Like I said, there is a join button on my page to go ahead and start signing up for the memberships for next week, after next week coming up. Like I said, otherwise, we'll just postpone the classes. 1 second, my phone will not stop going off. Andrew, calm down, babe.
Okay, Mom, I'll calm down.
One second. It's about work. Okay, so yes, so that I would recommend the original Rider Waite deck or universal one, or the Gilded Tarot Royale by Sarah Marchetti, or if you're going to start off with the deck. And then with the other one that you can start off with, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I started off with besides those two. That's actually the only 2 I started off with. I would only recommend the Gilded Royale tarot deck, and then wipe it out, and then the Rider Waite deck. So and that's just if you're beginning, because they're both so small, because then the books are so small, it's not overwhelming. Because like when you get one of these big ones like this, even though the books are really nice to have and they're beautiful, like I don't know, that depends on how much you want to know and how like much you want to be told right away, but like that's a lot of stuff, to look at for your very first time. Like some of these meanings for this one card could be 4 pages long, whereas on here it'll give you a rundown of like 7 words where it mainly means, and then you can interpret it intuitively like you need to, because every card means something different to every reader.
You can hash browns first.
Okay, go. You can eat them if you want. Yeah, but those would be the first ones that I would recommend. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out again. Like I said, I will see y'all probably within the next hour and to do the regular readings. And then I will try to do some recordings tonight. Like I said, if I don't do the recordings tonight, then I'll be taking tomorrow off to do the recordings. So as I already have a couple of cases done. Like I said, they're already written out. I just going to depend. Again, my son just fell asleep a little bit ago. So I'm going to see how much, as far as getting out the next readings, how much energy I have after that, if we have any at all. So we'll see. But you're welcome. Thank you, Browsing History, and thank you, Rosie. Thank you to everybody else who has joined, except for Deceitful Love. Thank you, Jaws. I know you're gone, but thank you for joining us. Like I said, and y'all have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Love you, True Chakra Tarot Talk, aka Southern Soul Tarot family still. So I love you guys, and y'all take care.